Okay, so when you're solving an inequality with the pronumeral in the denominator, the first thing you have to consider is what can the denominator not equal. So remember that a denominator cannot be equal to 0, and so therefore x cannot equal 1. So that's the first thing you must always consider. Then there are two cases that you need to consider. There's a positive denominator or a negative denominator. So if the denominator is positive, in this case x minus 1, so x minus 1, if we're saying it's positive, then it's greater than 0. And if we're saying it's positive, it means that x is going to have to be greater than 1. Alternatively, if we're saying that the denominator is negative, we're saying x minus 1 is less than 0. And therefore x must be less than 1. Alright, then we need to go ahead and solve the inequality. So we have 3 over x minus 1 is less than 2. Now I'm first of all considering the positive denominator, so therefore when I multiply by the denominator, my inequality sign does not reverse. So I get 3 is less than 2x minus 2. I add 2 to both sides, so 5 is less than 2x. And divide by 2, so 2.5 is less than x. A lot of the time people prefer to change that around and write it as x is greater than 2.5. So you can do that as well. Once you get to that final solution there, then you need to just remember to check what you've written above here. Because we said we're going to have a positive denominator, and that means that x has to be greater than 1. Now our solution here was 2.5, so that's greater than 1, so that's okay. That's part of our solution. Now let's look at the negative case. If the denominator is negative, when we multiply by the denominator, we're going to need to reverse the inequality sign. So we'll have 3 is greater than 2 multiplied by x minus 1. I think I'll just do that straight away, so that's 2x minus 2. Add 2 to both sides, so 5 is greater than 2x, and divide by 2, so 2.5 is greater than x. Again, rewriting that, you can write it as x is less than 2.5. And again, you must remember what you wrote initially. Initially we said if the denominator is negative, that means x must be less than 1. We've said anything less than 2.5, so that's not entirely right for our solution. If you said 2, 2 is not correct because 2 is not less than 1, which we said it had to be up here. So that's not part of our solution. We must stick with just the statement x is less than 1, which we got from above. So our final overall solution, where we write down all the values for x, we would say that x is less than 1, but also when x is greater than 2.5. Any values that satisfy those conditions, or either of those conditions, is a correct answer for this inequality. That's where we stop.